Judo is a modern martial art, combat and Olympic sport created in Japan in 1882 by Jigoro Kano. Its most prominent feature is its competitive element, where the objective is to either throw or take down an opponent to the ground, immobilize or otherwise subdue an opponent with a pin, or force an opponent to submit with a joint lock or a choke. Strikes and thrusts by hands and feet as well as weapons defenses are a part of Judo, but only in pre-arranged forms and are not allowed in Judo competition or free practice. A Judo practitioner is called a judoka. The philosophy and subsequent pedagogy developed for Judo became the model for other modern Japanese martial arts that developed from Koru. The worldwide spread of Judo has led to the development of a number of offshoots such as Sambo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. History and philosophy. Early life of the founder. The early history of Judo is inseparable from its founder, Japanese polymath and educated Jigoro Kano. Born Shin Yusuke Kano. Kano was born into a relatively affluent family. His father, Jirisaku, was the second son of the head priest of the Shinto Hiyoshi Shrine in Shiga Prefecture. He married Sadako Kano, daughter of the owner of Kikumasamune Sake Brewing Company, and was adopted by the family, changing his name to Kano, and ultimately became an official in the shogunal government. Jigoro Kano had an academic upbringing and, from the age of 7, he studied English, Japanese calligraphy and the 4 Confucian texts under a number of tutors. When he was 14, Kano began boarding at an English medium school, Ikuagijiku in Shiba, Tokyo. The culture of bullying endemic at this school was the catalyst that caused Kano to seek out a jujutsu dojo at which to train. Early attempts to find a jujutsu teacher who was willing to take him on met with little success. With the fall of the Tokugawa shogunate in the Meiji Restoration of 1868, jujutsu had become unfashionable in an increasingly westernized Japan. Many of those who had once taught the art had been forced out of teaching or become so disillusioned with it that they had simply given up. Nakaya Menari, an acquaintance of Kano's father and a former soldier, agreed to show him kata, but not to teach him. Another frequent visitor, Amai Genshiro of Kyushinyu School of Jujutsu, also refused. Several years passed before he finally found a willing teacher. In 1877, as a student at the Tokyo Kaisei School, Kano learned that many jujutsu teachers had been forced to pursue alternative careers, frequently opening seikotsu-in. After inquiring at a number of these, Kano was referred to Fukuda Hashin Yusuke, a teacher of the Tenjin Shinryu of Jujutsu, who had a small 9-mat dojo where he taught 5 students. Fukuda is said to have emphasized technique over formal exercise, sowing the seeds of Kano's emphasis on randori in judo. On Fukuda's death in 1880, Kano, who had become his keenest and most able student in both randori and kata, was given the densho of the Fukuda dojo. Kano chose to continue his studies at another Tenjin Shinryu school, that of Iso Masatomo. Iso placed more emphasis on the practice of kata, and entrusted randori instruction to assistants, increasingly to Kano. Iso died in June 1881 and Kano went on to study at the dojo of Ikubo Tsunetoshi of Kitoyu. Like Fukuda, Ikubo placed much emphasis on randori, with Kitoyu having a greater focus on Naj-Waza. Founding of the Kodokan in February 1882, Kano founded a school and dojo at the Eishoji, a Buddhist temple in what was then the Shigetai ward of Tokyo. Ikubo, Kano's Kitoyu instructor, attended the dojo 3 days a week to help teaching. Although 2 years would pass before the temple would be called by the name Kodokan, and Kano had not yet received his Menkyo in Kitoyu. This is now regarded as the Kodokan founding. The Aishoji Dojo was a relatively small affair, consisting of a 12-mat training area. Kano took in resident and non-resident students, the first two being Sunjiro Tomita and Shiro Saigo. In August, the following year, the pair were granted Shodan grades, the first that had been awarded in any martial art. Judo versus Jujutsu. Central to Kano's vision for Judo were the principles of Sairyoku Zenyo and Jita Kyoei. He illustrated the application of Sairyoku Zenyo with the concept of Juyoku Go Seij. In short, resisting a more powerful opponent will result in your defeat, whilst adjusting to and evading your opponent's attack will cause him to lose his balance, his power will be reduced, and you will defeat him. This can apply whatever the relative values of power, thus making it possible for weaker opponents to beat significantly stronger ones. This is the theory of Juyoku Go Seij. Kano realized that Sairyoku Zenyo, initially conceived as a jujutsu concept, had a wide philosophical application. Coupled with the Confucianist influence Jita Kyoei, the wider application shaped the development of judo from a martial art to a martial way. Kano rejected techniques that did not conform to these principles and emphasized the importance of efficiency in the execution of techniques. He was convinced that practice of jujutsu while conforming to these ideals was a route to self-improvement and the betterment of society in general. He was, however, acutely conscious of the Japanese public's negative perception of jujutsu. At the time, a few bujitsu experts still existed, but bujitsu was almost abandoned by the nation at large. Even if I wanted to teach jujitsu, most people had now stopped thinking about it. So I thought it better to teach under a different name, principally because my objectives were much wider than jujitsu. Kano believed that jujutsu was insufficient to describe his art. Although jutsu means art, or means it implies a method consisting of a collection of physical techniques. Accordingly, he changed the second character to do, meaning way, road or path, which implies a more philosophical context than jutsu and has a common origin with the Chinese concept of Tao. Thus Kano renamed it Judo. Judo Waza. There are three basic categories of Waza in Judo: Naj Waza, Katami Waza, and Atami Waza. Judo is most known for Naj Waza and Katami Waza. Judo practitioners typically devote a portion of each practice session to yukimi, in order that Naj Waza can be practiced without significant risk of injury. Several distinct types of yukimi exist, including Ushiro yukimi, Joko yukimi, Mei yukimi, and Zenpo Kaiten yukimi. The person who performs a Waza is known as tori, and the person to whom it is performed is known as yuke. Naj Waza and Naj Waza include all techniques in which tori attempts to throw or trip yuke, usually with the aim of placing yuke on his back. Each technique has three distinct stages: Kuzushi, the initial balance break; Tsukuri, the act of turning in and fitting into the throw; Cake, the execution and completion of the throw. Naj Waza are typically drilled by the use of uchikomi, repeated turning in, taking the throw up to the point of cake. Traditionally, Naj Waza are further categorized into Taki Waza, throws that are performed with tori maintaining an upright position, and Tsutami Waza, throws in which tori sacrifices his upright position in order to throw yuke. Taki Waza are further subdivided into Te Waza, in which tori predominantly uses his arms to throw yuke. Koshi Waza throws that predominantly use a lifting motion from the hips, and Ashi Waza throws in which tori predominantly utilizes his legs. Katami Waza. Katami Waza is further categorized into Osare Komi Waza, in which Tori traps and pins Yuke on his back on the floor, Shima Waza, in which Tori attempts to force a submission by choking or strangling Yuke, and Kansetsu Waza, in which Tori attempts to submit Yuke by painful manipulation of his joints. A related concept is that of Ni Waza, in which Waza are applied from a non-standing position. In competitive judo, Kansetsu Waza is currently limited to elbow joint manipulation. Manipulation and locking of other joints can be found in various kata, such as Katami no kata and Kodokan Goshin Jutsu. Atami Waza. Atami Waza are techniques in which Tori disables Yuke with a strike to a vital point. Atami Waza are not permitted outside of kata pedagogy. Randori Judo pedagogy emphasizes randori. This term covers a variety of forms of practice, and the intensity at which it is carried out varies depending on intent and the level of expertise of the participants. At one extreme is a compliant style of randori, known as yakusoku gaiko, in which neither participant offers resistance to their partner's attempts to throw. A related concept is that of suta gaiko, in which an experienced judoka allows himself to be thrown by his less experienced partner. At the opposite extreme from yakusoku gaiko is the hard style of randori that seeks to emulate the style of judo seen in competition. While hard randori is the cornerstone of judo, overemphasis of the competitive aspect is seen as undesirable by traditionalists if the intent of the randori is to win, rather than to learn. Randori is usually limited to either Taki Waza or Ni Waza, and when one partner is thrown in Taki Waza randori, practice is resumed with both partners on the feet. Kata are pre-arranged patterns of techniques, and in judo, with the exception of the Sairyoku, Zenyoku, and Taiku, they are all practiced with a partner. Their purposes include illustrating the basic principles of judo, demonstrating the correct execution of a technique, teaching the philosophical tenets upon which judo is based, allowing for the practice of techniques that are not allowed in randori, and to preserve ancient techniques that are historically important but are no longer used in contemporary judo. There are 10 kata that are recognized by the Kodokan today. Randori no kata, comprising 2 kata. Nage no kata 15 throws, practiced both left and right-handed, 3 each from the 5 categories of Nage Waza, Te Waza, Koshi Waza, Ashi Waza, Masutami Waza, and Yoko Sutami Waza. Katami no kata. 15 techniques in 3 sets of 5, illustrating the 3 categories of Katami Waza, Osare Komi Waza, Shima Waza, and Kansetsu Waza. Kaim no kata. 20 techniques, illustrating the principles of defense in a combat situation, performed from kneeling and standing positions. Itaxamade unarmed and armed with a dagger and a sword. This kata utilizes Atami Waza, striking techniques that are forbidden in randori, Kodokan Goshinjutsu. The most recent recognized kata, comprising 21 techniques of defense against attack from an unarmed assailant and one armed with a knife, stick and pistol. This kata incorporates various jujutsu techniques such as wrist locks and Atami Waza. Ju no kata. 15 techniques, arranged in 3 sets of 5, demonstrating the principle of Ju and its correct use in offense and defense. Go no kata. One of the oldest kata, comprising 10 forms that illustrate the efficient use of force and resistance. Now rarely practiced. Itsutsu no kata, an advanced kata, illustrating the principle of Sairyoku Senyo and the movements of the universe. Recent research has shown that this kata, unlike what often has been claimed, was not created by Kano, but similar to Koshiki no kata. It was merely imported into judo after Kano slightly amended it. The kata predates the creation of Kodokan and comes from Tenjin Shinryu. Koshiki no kata, derived from Kito-yu Jujutsu. This kata was originally intended to be performed wearing armor. Kano chose to preserve it as it embodied the principles of Judo, Sairyoku Zenyo Kurkum and Taiku, a series of exercises designed to develop the physique for Judo. Joshigoshi Nyo, an exercise completed in 1943, and of which the development was ordered by Jiro Nango, the second Kodokan president. In addition, there are a number of commonly practiced kata that are not recognized by the Kodokan. Some of the more common kata include Go no Sen no Kata, a kata of counter techniques developed at Waseda University in Tokyo, popularized in the West by Mikonosuke Kawarishi. Naj Wazau no Kata, another kata of counter techniques created by Kuzo Mifune. Keishi no Kata, yet another kata of counters, attributed to Yukio Tani.